Much for coming on today's call. Today is December 17th, 2025, and we got a couple weeks left into 2025. And I got to say, we've had a really great year here at Miranda Real Estate Group. I think we hit 6 or 7 months, were our record months this year that we've ever had in our company history. And it's great to see that, being that sales across the country are at a very big low right now, as from what I'm hearing, just around 4 million or just over 4 million homes. We've actually had some really good increases. A lot of that is based on our market. We're still in a seller's market here in upstate New York. We've done a lot of training, and we doubled down on training over the last couple of years. I see that paying off. We have a lot of new members also that have joined our company, and they're doing really good stuff. So all that combined, very grateful for the year that we had, and it looks like 2026 is going to be even a better year. Predictions are across the board that there should be a 10 to 14% increase in home sales in our country, across the country, and we're anticipating the same thing here in the Capital District. So I want to share with you guys. I know that we're just wrapping up. This is our last call for our 24-week masterclass for 2025, and it's been really good. I mean, the feedback's been really great. I think there's been a lot of breakthroughs for a lot of agents, taking some of this information, applying it to their business. And we're going to be sharing with you guys here our 2026 masterclass as we go into the new year and what we have in store for you then. We changed some of the topics, we changed some of the classes. We're bringing in new speakers. So, I don't want you to look at it and say, oh, I already know that, or, I already heard that last year. It's always different. It's always different because things are changing. And, obviously to grow, you need to be green and growing. You got to be plugged into education like this. And it's something that, again, we try to bring you different speakers and different what's working in today's market, right? We don't want to give you stuff that is not working or worked 20 years ago. We want to definitely share with you what's working in today's market. So just to bring that up real quick, hopefully you guys see on your screen here, their 2026 Masterclass syllabus. We're going to keep that first module. We're going to keep it on marketing and advertising strategies. We go over a lot on lead generation and the fundamentals of that, your database, which is so important, as we all know, and just how do you dominate your market using weekly emails, and how do you, get leads from geographic farming. We're going to be going over really those big 4 pillars that I talk about, right? Your online, your offline, your social media marketing. We'll all be put into that. I've been doing some really good stuff with social media since May that I want to share with you guys. Now that I got a good 6-month data bank of information, I'm going to share with you guys as to what was working for us. And I'm going to continue doing what I've been doing and share that with you guys as well. So a lot of great stuff going on Module 1 with marketing and advertising. Module 2, we're going to talk about strategic growth in mastery, right? Time management, choice management, as we talk about. We're going to go over financial management, things that you should be putting aside, things that you should be allocating your funds differently, making sure you're paying your taxes and making sure you're putting money away for retirement, those type of things. We're going to go over into luxury marketing. For some of you in luxury marketing, in markets, I should say, we have some great things that are working there, especially down in our Florida market. We'll have a guest speaker again on each module to talk about specific things about that module itself. And in Module 3, we talk about technology and tools for real estate agents, maximizing your social media presence, making sure that you're on the right platforms, and what platforms to really be on that's going to give you the most amount of return. I'm going to bring back ChatGPT and AI. That's changing like daily, right? So we want to make sure we get a guest speaker in to talk about that, and then we'll have a live with the leaders there. Module 4 and 5 is all about seller prospecting and buyer prospecting, from lead generation to the 14-step process to making sure that you price homes right with CMAs. Also our listing presentation, we want to make sure we go over with that. Same thing on the buyer side, buyer checklist, buyer expectations, how do you get buyers, go over the buyer presentation. We made some tweaks with that again. And then negotiations, winning offers, multiple offers, if they're still going on next year, which I guess they probably will be. Sales are going to pick up. We're probably going to still see that across the country. And then again, live with the leader podcast with special guests. Module 6 will be about client relationship management, basically client for life system, going over closing gift, client events, Our guest speaker today is going to be talking a lot about this in what we go over in module 6 here. But she's going to be going over a lot of different things on how she's built her business by referral, some of the things that she does in her business to get pretty much all of her business or most of her business comes from repeat and referral business. So we're going to be talking to our guest speaker today about how she does that. And then we do a course wrap up and end it with a speaker like we are today come December 2nd. So a lot of good stuff here, and we'll be posting that in the private Facebook page, the syllabus. Make sure you get them into your schedules. We're going to keep the time the same, 1 to 2 on Wednesdays, every other Wednesday. And it seems like it'd be a good time for most people midweek. And I'm really excited about getting that out to everyone. So if there's something that you don't see on there, things that you may want more information on or more training on, by all means, go ahead and hit reply to the emails that you receive, or give us a comment and feedback in our private Facebook page. And you know, if we can get that information, we definitely will. If we can get a guest speaker to talk about it, we definitely will. And again, we're open to any type of conversation about additional information that we can add to our program. All right, so we got that out of the way. I will take that offline. And today I want to welcome a very special guest. She's been with us for many years, Jareen Skamarak from Exit Realty in New Jersey. Her and I met many years ago through a great contact by the name of Rick DeLuca, her and Bob. And Bob and Jareen and I, we've coached for a long time. We've done a lot of masterminds together. We continue to do so. Got a great relationship. And I thought it'd be great to end the year with having Jareen talk about the successes that she's had being in the business and some of the things that she's doing to grow her business by referral. And she's also a top producer, not only in her local company, but also with the national brand at Exit Realty as well. So with that, I will introduce you, Jareen. Jareen, you there?
Hello. Hi.
How you doing, Jareen? Thank you so much for
good.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on today's call. And it's always a pleasure to have you on. And I know off camera, we like to say our jokes and always busting each other here and there. But at the end of the day, it's always great to see you and also to see Bob and the rest of your company down there every time I get to come down and visit.
Thank you. It's definitely an honor having to join you today. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, Jareen, you know, some agents know who you are because they've seen you speak before and contribute. There's a lot of people that haven't. So maybe just give us a little background, how you got into real estate and, you know, how long you've been in the business now.
Well, I started in real estate in 2005, and I'm going into my 21st year coming up. So it's pretty crazy how fast it goes. I guess real estate was something I was always interested in, but I never wanted to take the leap to do a fully commission position. When I first started working, I was in finance, working on Wall Street, and then came to Jersey, working still in finance, mutual funds, and so on. Stopped and had children, but still had my foot dipped into our company, working part-time with the mutual fund company. And then I decided, I think it happened when I was selling one of my first homes. I have a marketing background, and I started kind of overseeing the agent that was selling the house. And I decided I was going to get my license, and I took it from there.
So you fell in love with the business itself, and it is true, right? When you start get down, that's how I got into it. Actually, I sold my mother and father's house many years ago when they were getting divorced, and they picked an agent, and that agent wasn't doing that great of a job, and I jumped in and kind of got hooked by it. So it sounds like
yeah, definitely.
Well, I know you're down in New Jersey, so anyone that has any type of referrals for you down that way should definitely give Jareen a call. But Jareen, talk to me about your market now. I mean, you know, New Jersey is kind of similar to upstate New York, but different in a lot of ways. Well, how would you describe your market right now?
We are still in a very inventory deficit here. I'm in the Monmouth County area, that's central Jersey, and the whole state is just very low with inventory. But our county of Monmouth County probably just has about 1,100 homes for sale, and it's been consistently like that for the last couple of years. Our equity and home values have gone up over 60. I think the NAJAR, New Jersey Association of Realtors, said 69% in the past 5 years. So there's a lot of equity that our homeowners have, but they're all sitting on it and not moving. So we got to get them to get a little fire under their butts.
That's right. That is so true. That is so true. And we see the same thing in upstate New York. But then, as you know, we have an office in Florida, and it's a total opposite down there. Well, their equity is up, but the inventory is through the roof down. So we're starting to see some adjustments. And we'll see that here also, right? We'll see that in the Northeast as well. I'm sure here over the next year or two that we'll start seeing some movement there.
Mm-hmm.
What, as far as your market and all that, are you still seeing multiple offers going on?
It depends. It really depends on the property. Anything that is, I feel like the buyers are still, if they're paying top dollar for something, they really want a home that's completely ready to move in. And if the condition is there and it's priced right, it will have multiple offers. But our days on market have started to expand. And I think now we're at least 35 days minimum on market. And I think that's going to go up a little bit more because there's a lot of homes for sale that are in the upper luxury level, and there's hardly any for the first time home buyer. And if they are in the lower levels, pricing anywhere between, under 600 in our area that's where you're going to get multiple offers because there's a lot of people in that one group.
Okay. All right. So that makes sense. And, you said something about pricing, right? It doesn't matter what market you're in. If the home's not priced correctly, right, you're always going to have homes that sit out there a lot longer.
Yeah.
What type of strategies? I mean, because I know you primarily, not that you only work with sellers, but I know a lot of your business is working with listings and sellers that are out there. What advice do you give them as far as, are you pricing the homes still higher? Are you pricing them at market value, below market value? What's your strategy with that?
I've always been a person to go along with market value. I don't feel that, this was I think 2024 and 25 was a little bit of a learning curve for sellers because they expected to still get the 2022 prices or activity. And they're, whether their home was, the 4 or 5 years ago, you didn't have to have anything done to your home and your house would still sell. And that's not the case these days. So I think it's more imperative to really go through the pricing and making sure it's priced right. Most sellers do not ever want to price it lower. They still can't wrap their head around that would drive the price up. So I find that most people in my area are pricing it pretty market value.
Okay. All right. Makes sense. And we're seeing the same thing here in upstate New York. All right. Let's talk about your personal business, because I know a lot of your business comes from repeat and referral business, like I mentioned already. What would you say as far as what percentage of your business comes from that?
Well, I know that because you've asked me this question, and it's 90. I'd say a good 95%. That would be a fair number. Comes from repeat business, referral business.
Okay. And when you talk about that, getting that referral business, and I think there's a lot of people that I talk to anyways, they have their database, they get things going, but they don't really do anything with it. They're not doing events, they're not doing mailers, they're not doing emails, they're not doing any of that type of stuff. How do you get that repeat and referral business from your clientele?
Well, you have to have systems in place. And it started when I started coaching with prior to even joining with you. That was apparent that I had to have systems in place to get the business going, and it had to be having a CRM and using it and setting every year, goals, adding things in, doing what you can budgetary wise, what you can do, and be consistent with it, and just don't stop. So things I do would be, weekly emails, monthly newsletters, monthly quantum digital, or mailings out to people. I do a quarterly magazine that goes out. It's American Lifestyle. It's Reminder Media. I don't know if some of you, they are all over. I've been using them since I started in the business, and my clients love that because they just talk about it all the time as if I got something that exit created for me, and they don't realize it's a marketing piece. So, you know, I make sure that I cultivate my sphere by, you know, anyone that gives me a referral, I make sure that they get a handwritten note, they get a thank you for whether that transpires into something, they get a gift card or something thanking them for that referral. And then I really take good care of my clients by keeping my top clients, the A's, A pluses, getting a quarterly gift from a company called Client Giant that was introduced through our mastermind with Justin, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's been really good, and staying in front of them. So yeah, so instead of, do you buy leads like Zillow leads or Realtor.com leads?
I haven't bought leads in years. I stopped doing that because I realized I was wasting my money and found that all my business was, you know, you have to evaluate where your business is coming from, and you really need to take a look at your business, see where you have to track. That's what I'm saying. You need systems. You have to track where your business is coming from, where you got the lead from. And you know, I found that I was spending so much money on things, and I wasn't getting any ROI out of it. So I stopped using that and then started putting money into the people that were giving me the referrals.
Perfect. That's a great segue, what I wanted to say. And I just had that conversation with someone this morning, is that a lot of the top agents that I see out there don't buy leads. They're not buying Zillow, they're not buying Realtor.com. Not to say that as a new agent, that's not a good investment, because you got to start somewhere, which you did and I did. But there comes a point in time when you start building your database to 200, 300, 500, 1,000 people, that's where your leads are going to come from, right? Your best source is always going to come from those clients. So shifting those resources into your clients is going to be most important. So I know one of the things that you do is you put them into your clients as far as client events. So maybe you can talk a little about maybe your top, you know, 2 or 3 client events that you do every year where you're allocating those funds to help.
Right. Well, I like to do one large client event where I'll invite everybody, and it could be maybe it's a cocktail party at a local restaurant, or one year we did, you know, a little less informal, and it was at a craft brewery, and it, you know, it was a movie, so they could bring kids this time, so that if you wanted to do it more with bringing your family, you could bring the kids, and there was a movie playing during that event. I've had wine and cheese parties. I do the pie event every year. It's probably my 9th year at least now doing that. That gets me at least 8 to 10 leads every year. It's insane how successful that event is for me. I've tried I'll do community things where we'll do, donating food drives. We'll do food drives, but we do that as a company event as well. I've done the can for a cone that you've recommended. I'd like to do that again. I think I just had a really bad rainy day that didn't have a good turnout, you know.
Get a can for a sloppy cone.
Yeah, they weren't thirsty enough for their ice cream. You know, it's things like that are just really important, because you're showing that you're giving back to your clients who are now, you know, they're happy. They say thank you for this pie that it does not cost $10, and you're giving them this every year, and they come and they'll drive an hour. Like, you know, the first time I started this event, somebody said, "Oh, they're not, you know, why are they going to come to the office?" I'm like, I have people that drive an hour, and I could tell you that they can save the gas and buy the pie by them if they wanted to. I could send them the money, but they do it because I've worked with them, I've sold them, they've worked with me, I've referred their business, they refer me business, and that's what builds your business.
Yeah, and it is so true, right? It's the relationship that you built. It's not about the pie. It's about the relationship.
No.
It's about being part of something that you're part of, and being part of that tribe, as we always say, right? They're in that database, and they want to support you in your efforts, and you're supporting them as well. So It's really good. So it sounds like your most popular event would be the pie event. Would that be fair?
It is pretty popular, yeah.
Yeah. So would you say on some, maybe not that event, or maybe you do in that event, but do you have any type of help, like from a sponsor or something like that, or maybe another event that you do that you have sponsors that help out with that?
I'm a little different with the sponsor. I know that in the past, when I first started, I would lean on sponsor, reaching out to my partners in mortgage or title or any of those avenues. And I used to co-brand with a lot of flyers and things with them, but I tend to do it all without a sponsor. And it's because then a lot of times I get kind of feeling I got to spread the wealth around. And being a primarily a listing agent, it's hard to, if I'm not working with buyers all the time, the lenders get a little like, you're not sending me the business or whatever. So I got kind of like, instead of hurting anybody's feelings, I'm just going to take care of it myself. And at the end of the day, I need a couple of write-offs anyway, so it works for them.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And sometimes when agents do these events, one of the biggest thing that they get scared about is like, who's going to come? Like you said, right? Who's going to come and get a pie, and travel an hour to
Right.
come? And I guess, once you started it, and the next year, like you said, you've been doing it, what, 9 years now?
Yeah,
Your first event versus, let's say, the event you just did this year, what was the difference in turnout?
Oh yeah, like couple in the beginning to, I don't know, 20 to 50 pot, it depends. Every year it's a little different, but I remember even my first client event, I held it in my office. So we used the office, we did just wine and cheese, and there wasn't a huge event, but everybody was invited. And even afterwards, every year you just tweak it. You just, reach out to the people that did come, tell the people that didn't come, sorry you missed it, you'll be invited to the next one. And how I could make it bigger and better, and they grow. And I'd say I probably invite 100 and maybe to 150 people. You may get 50 people, you may get less, it depends. Like I found different times of the year. I got slammed with the flu last year. Not me, but my party. I dropped like 25 people the morning of the event. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't believe that happened. But you can't help it. It just happened.
So how do you ensure like a good turnout, right? How do you get people, like, is there a process or a system? I know our very good friend, Pat Garrity, I talked to not too long ago, and he's out in Canada. He has a process that he does. What's your process for not only announcing the event, but getting people to show up?
Well, every year I kind of sit down with my assistant, and we're going to put out we map out the year. So we put out what things we're doing every month, so that we can, have that consistency of reaching out to the clients. To plan a client event, we know when it's going to be. We start with save the date. It will be an email. Sometimes I'm also including it in maybe a monthly mailer that they're going to get. It's a part of my newsletter. Then they're going to get an invitation. I was doing mail invitations and evites, but I found that the evite works much better than the snail mail. And then I text them, and once I get, we'll just start mass texting. You got to automate things, especially if you're trying to reach a lot of people. So sometimes I've even turned into doing sly broadcast messages to people, and I get a lot of responses. Matter of fact, I forget that I set them up, and I'll start getting people calling me, and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry I missed your call." And I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
So, you got to remember that you set these automations up, but I find that that's how that works best. And then the day of, email, texting again, text seems to be a good response for reaching out to my clients, and then reminding them today's the event. Can't wait to see you. And then, afterwards it's a follow-up of thank you for coming, and, looking forward to the next year.
Okay, so there is a process to it, right? And it's no different than any other event. I mean, I was just talking to an agent the other day about a broker open, right? You can't just send one email out or two emails to hope that everyone shows up. You have to make those phone calls. You have to make those texts. You have to have that follow-up, even the day of the event, because clients don't work like we do out of a calendar all the time, right? They just forget. And,
Yeah.
you know, we always get 3 or 4 pies, 4, 5, 6 pies sometimes that people
They
just
don't
forget to
come.
get, even all the stuff that we do. But then usually they'll come in the next day and get it, and maybe I'll deliver 1 or 2 that I have to bring. Maybe
Same.
that's an older client, right? Same type of thing. So
Yeah.
that's good. So you have a process, and I'm glad that you kind of spell that out, because I think a lot of people, you know, it does require a little effort, little work, but it's a huge pay.
Yeah.
You know, it's a huge pay.
And once you get the system in place, that's what I said from the start, you have to have a system. You have to be consistent with it. You can't do it once and forget about it. You have to always do it. And, you know, it's just building upon it and building upon it. And, you know, by saying, using the pie event as an example, and maybe the invite goes out like, oh, you know, come join us for our 9th annual or whatever. And then they're like, oh my God, she's been doing this that long. Like now it becomes like, it's kind of like resonating with them. And honestly, it seems to be the same people most of the time, year after year. So
Yeah, true. Yeah, it's true. Same people. And these are the people that are very thankful, grateful, right? That you keep inviting them. And these are great people that are your A and A pluses in your database. So, you know, it's always good to see them. Follow up is something that I know that you mentioned, and in the follow up with that, I think the piece that I wanted to say is that even though they don't come to the event, the fact that you invited them, they still feel grateful, right? They still feel part of it, and it's still another touch that we have to our client database. Even if they don't show up, it's still worth doing, right? So you can't beat yourself up if they don't come. So follow up, and if anyone has a question, by the way, go ahead and throw them in the question box. I know we have one here from Genevieve here that I'll get to here in just a second.
Okay.
But with follow up, Jareen, what do you know, everyone says, you know, what's the best database, right? And we always say, well, it's the one that you use, right? But what database do you use? CRM.
The CRM now is Follow Up Boss. I've been using that for about 2 years now. I switched to that, and I just find it really user friendly. It's easy. It's easy to work with, and that's the key, really. It doesn't have everything. I would love it to do. Like I have another. I actually also. It doesn't have my newsletter. I have a different market leader. I have does my newsletter and some other marketing campaigns, because every month or every holiday, you know, for the emails will go out. We're like, happy holidays, happy Halloween, happy 4th of July, whatever, like, you know, happy Mother's Day. They're getting all of that. So there's always some kind of touch all the time that's going to come through. Happy birthday. The birthdays and the home anniversaries work really well with Follow Up Boss. And I get I'll get the response back from that. And sometimes I'm sending my video messages to them, and sometimes they're just getting that email. It's kind of like me falling back on that, but I know you're always like, you should do the video. But I do get them responding like, oh, thank you for wishing me happy birthday or whatever, you know, and I'm making sure that they see that they're getting that. And then it reminds me to reach out to them as well.
Right. Okay. All right, good. So Follow Up Boss is the one that you use.
Yeah.
All right. So we do have a question on here. So I'll, being that we're on this, might as well talk about it.
Sure.
The question is, do you get a lot of opt-outs? Because email once a week seems a lot, but you know, when you send them out versus say your monthly newsletter, do you get a lot of opt-outs? It seems like there's 2 different emails that are going out, right? Market Leader is one, and then you're doing weekly emails through Follow Up Boss, correct?
Correct. There's not a lot of opt-outs at all. I just, my assistant will follow up on, you know, how well, like tracking what gets more open, the open rate versus what doesn't. And it seems like when I send out the weekly emails that have like links to my blog from my website, they get a lot more open rate than just like, oh, do you want to know your home value? Click here, which brings them to my website as well. But that doesn't seem to get as much as an open rate as the blog does. And the newsletter, I used to just goof around with people sometimes too. Especially if they're on my sphere and I know them, and if somebody opt out, I will call them and be, oh, did you mistakenly opt out of that? I could put you right back in. It's okay. And they put them up on the spot, you know.
Yeah. What would you say on average is, you know, an average open rate for you on your weekly emails?
Let me ask that question. Allie, do we have what's an average open rate on the weekly emails? One momento.
Go ahead. She'll look at that. So you're sending out the weekly, you're sending out the newsletter. The blog, is that the one that you have you still have that luxury presence?
Yeah, my website is with Luxury Presence, and they create blogs for me. I also use Studio for the interactive AI storybooks for my listings. They also created listing storybooks for me for my local area. And they do seasonal ones, or, you know, whatever I can send out, we can link that. And I also just started with, hold on, we have the number. So if it's 20 to 30% open rate, if it's just to non-sphere, but if my sphere is included in that, because we break it up between just different homeowners and areas in the town, it will go up a lot more if it's sphere related, or sphere included, I should say.
Yeah. So anything north of 30% is great, especially on a colder list, like you said. That's really good open rate. And then I would probably say if you just did it to your fear of influence, then you're probably in the 50% or more, probably.
Yeah.
If you're just using that. So that's a great open rate. But here's the thing too, just to take one more step to Genevieve, you're always going to have someone opt out. There's always going to be one, maybe two people. Very rarely will you get zero opt-outs. And if you do, you don't have a big enough list. So it's just the nature of the beast, right? And you'll have some bad emails, some things that'll bounce back, you know, those type of things. But it's important that you go in, and when you see something that bounces or didn't get delivered, that you call that person and get their updated email and fix it, because you don't want that to keep messing up your algorithm. Is there Constant Contact or MailChimp or something like that you send them out in, or do you do it just through Follow Up Boss?
Doing Follow Up Boss. I was using Constant Contact for another system, but I stopped using them. I don't use the social media platform anymore. It was through RoomView. I use a different social media platform now, which has also blogging, which I think is great. They're called Real Estate Content.ai, and they'll post and create for all the platforms, and they're going to start to include YouTube Shorts, and Google. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah. So as you guys can see, right, it's always evolving into different things, and not that, you know, Jareen is that type of person like some agents are, chase the shiny object. With Jareen, you've always been open to investing back into your business, trying things out, giving it a longer period of time to prove itself. And then if it works, you keep it, right? And if it doesn't, then it's out the door and you're finding something else. So you're not afraid to invest back into your business, and you know, the results show for sure. That's why I see all those awards behind you.
You know, it's really important to track things. I didn't do that for the first few years of my business, and it was like running on a treadmill, not getting anywhere. And it was just, once I started finding systems and using the CRM and sticking to a plan and you know, putting a calendar out, doing a yearly, like January comes, everybody gets us another, you know, a mailing about their HUD. And that was Rick DeLuca told me to do that years ago. He's like, you send out their closing documents or whatever, and we start mailing those out. I can't tell you how many people appreciate that, because they don't have that document, or they want to get their taxes done and they need to have it, and they think their attorney is going to give it to them. So it's all of these little things that you're constantly doing every, you know, all along is what's building that referral business that you're going to get.
Yeah, no, it's service, right? You're not that transactional agent where you do a deal and then you never talk to the people again. I tell a lot of people that's a lot of times when your relationship really starts, it's at the end of the transaction. Because if you do the right thing, you'll get repeat referral business, you'll have clients for life.
we do a lot of the Buffini trainings, and it's all kind of spear related. Everything is all intertwined with different trainers, but I've always felt that you have to give, reading books, but you have to give that exceptional experience to people. And if you don't give it to them and every year add to it and make it different and grow and come up with a better way to do it, then you're going to be just like everybody else. And they don't want that. They want to know what you're going to do different for them.
Yeah, and if not, they'll go use someone else, right? I'm sure there's plenty of other real estate agents in your market that they can go to, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So, Jerry, let me ask you something. We got a lot of new agents that watch this here live today, but also they'll watch the recording. And they're all hyped up. 2026, right? New year, new me, that type of thing. And again, everyone wants that magic pill, that one thing. But what advice do you give to newer agents getting into the business now, wanting to get into this real estate business, which is a great business, by the way. I love the real estate business. You and I talk about that all the time. But it's not an easy business, right? Like real estate, I always tell people, it's not hard, but it's not easy. What advice do you give to agents coming into the business today?
Well, I mentor a lot of new agents in our office as well, and it's definitely the shiny penny, even though they don't realize there's so many different ways to look at things. You want to go to FSBOs, you want to expires, you want to maybe, should I buy leads, should I do this or that? I like to kind of individualize somebody and see what's your budget, what could you don't have to do everything at once. I didn't my listing presentation includes a lot of things that I just couldn't afford years ago. But now I add all this in, and the success that I've found with just working with my sphere, I just pound that into them. You've got to build that, and it takes time, and it doesn't happen overnight. But these are people that and they have to be reassured, because my sphere at first, when I wasn't cultivating it, didn't really think of me when they went and bought in a different town. I could sell all over the state of New Jersey, but they thought I could only sell in Homedale. And then it was like, oh, I didn't know you sold down the shore. I'm like, oh, that's my fault. Look in the mirror and realize that you've got to be the one talking to people about this. And that's why you have to do all of these little things with the newsletter and the mailer and the phone call and the notes and the Facebook comments and all of these things to remind people that you're an agent. And as a new agent, do that and include other things too. Going after for sale by owners and going after, but don't give up the people that know you and should be giving you the best support in business and referral for people that don't even know you. And you're chasing people and want to do something for someone that doesn't know you at all. They're not going to trust you.
Right. Right. Great advice. No, you're right. You already have an audience that knows you, likes you, and trusts you. You want to work and maximize that first before you just start door knocking or working for sale by owners and FSBOs. And I do see agents spend more time on that than they do on their own center of influence, right? They just don't have a process.
Yeah, and you can do it. You should do it. I still do it myself. I'm still chasing expireds and for sale by owners. We have no inventory here, and it's not falling from the sky. So we're making calls and getting appointments and doing that as well. But you got to fill in the space, but with that stuff. But don't rely on just that. That's when I stopped doing and buying, Zillow leads and all that. I'm very skeptical. Different markets, it's a different price point, and they were very expensive, and I'm spending money and seeing no return on investment. And I said, this is absurd. You have to, you don't want to be making money and then seeing at the end of the year that you have nothing to show for it.
Yeah, so true. Well, and the reason why you're able to identify that is because you do a great job looking at your business for the year, what worked, what didn't work, and do more of the things that did work and get rid of the stuff that didn't work, right? So a lot of agents don't, they just throw money at it.
One of the things, tracking business, like I had somebody say to me, why are you so worried that you didn't hit your number this quarter? You're your own boss. And I'm like, because I'm hard on myself. I know what I want to achieve by the end of the year. I start out with an accountability partner that I say, this is how much I want to net, or these are my gross sales. This is how many numbers I want to hit. this is how I'd like to break it down per quarter. And when I look at where the business is coming from and I see who is on that list of these people are waiting to list next year, or these people they need to buy and sell, and these I know, and I'm looking, and they're all coming from Sphere. So if it's not a Sphere referral, it's my sphere of influence, and that's how I know I'm tracking where everybody's coming from.
Yeah. Well, Doreen, thank you so much. We're just about out of time here, and really great information. A lot of great nuggets on there, and I'm sure that a lot of people took some great notes. I know 2026, another great year for you, and I know, or 2025 is a great year for you, and moving forward in 2026, you're going to crush it. So if someone was looking, again, we sell referrals, right? And that was one of the other things too, like shame on us if our clients don't know that we can help them outside of our general markets too. But if someone had a referral down in Homedale or in the New Jersey area, what's a great way for them to get a hold of you?
Well, you can call me. I actually worked with one of your agents in the Miranda office, Bobby. So my cell number is 908-902-4778. Or you can email me. It's Jareen S. for Skamarack at exitrealtyec.com. I could probably put that in the chat, or somebody can.
Yeah, we'll post it on the private Facebook too, so that you have the right information. But Jareen, thank you so much. Really great information. And
you're welcome.
I know you have grandbabies too that you're busy with, and I know you're going to have a great holiday season. And you know, enjoy the holidays, and we'll be talking to you really soon, and looking forward to working with you in 2026.
Same here, and good luck, and have a prosperous 2026, everybody. Take care.
All right, everyone, the same to you, and everyone on the call, thank you so much, and get ready. We're going to have a great 2026, and you'll get this agenda emailed to you shortly. So thank you very much, guys. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.